Welcome to the Rise Above show with Patricia Jo Grover, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. I just want to take a quick moment and thank our sponsors, 133 Approved Funding. They've been able to help businesses keep their doors open through the pandemic, and for businesses right now who are trying to get started and new startups, they have funding available. I want to thank my guest today for being with me, Omolola Adekia, and let me tell you a little bit about her. Oh my goodness. She is going to be a speaker with us for the financial dimension of life. And Omolola is a legal professional who's been able to leverage her passion for law into the international business arena. She's a global consultant providing solid negotiation and procurement success in international trading transactions. Her work is a capital funding source for professionals specializing in Africa's economic growth and development, where they provide access to investment funding for innovative projects within Africa and beyond. Doing small business consulting, working with startup and existing businesses aimed at providing non-traditional financing. As a mom and wife, she's always looking for ways to improve the well-being of family life and seeking out and sharing products and processes that are proven to work. Oh my goodness, Omolola, so happy to have you with us.
I am excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking your time to spend today with us. I'm so happy to be here, and it's an honor. It's a pleasure. It's always a joy to be able to share with others what has worked, what is working, and just share knowledge for all of us to benefit from, because there's so much, even in these times when we feel a little conscripted, a little antsy, what can I do? There's a lot. And I'm just happy to have Patty invite me to be part of this beautiful show to share what I have. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. And again, it is an honor to have you. So I need to ask, what brought you to this journey of consciously defining success?
Thank you so much for that question. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's a lot. A lot has brought me to this journey to find what success is for me as an individual. I started out studying law, as you rightly said, and in the process of learning and taking the time to really study all that. I found that I was always drawn to social justice. I was always drawn to how to help improve people's lives, maybe through policies, through work with advocacy groups and things and organizations of that nature. It had always been my passion. And coming to the US, I did a master's in international law, and I decided to work a little bit with immigration, firms, still wanting to help people, still wanting to make lives better. But then in the process of doing all that, I got married. I had children, and I decided on my own to find a way of utilizing my skills in a way that will be beneficial, that I'll feel fulfilled, and at the same time still be working with folks, making their lives and helping them with their businesses also feel fulfilled. But in the process of even putting all that together and finding out ways to assist businesses, either through human resources or setting up the business itself, I still did not feel that sense of success. Because for a very long time, my definition had always been, you have to prove yourself, you have to make this point, you have to do this, you have to do that. And until very recently, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity I had a slowdown, something, my whole body, everything around me just came to a halt. And I had to really go within me, really find out what it is that I want to do, what it is who am I as an individual, which is, of course, an ongoing process. I'm coming to a point where I said, you know what, I'm going to love who I am because I live in this beautiful country, which is part of an amazing world. And so I have I don't have any excuses to say I can't live a happy life. I can't live a successful life. Well, it all started when I finally came to a better understanding. I finally came to a greater awareness when I decided to love myself and choose to define everything I do from the process of appreciating who I am, because I am here to benefit, to be of service and benefit to others, and to also honor my creator. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Beautifully said, Omalola. And one thing that you said right from the start is, about success. We have to have our own definition of what success is to us. I work with clients every day on these things. What success is to us, because what it means to me may mean something different to you. It may be
Right.
associated with a title or how much money somebody, an income that they have, or where they live or what they drive. And wealth, the same thing. What wealth is to one person isn't necessarily what wealth is to another. So that's very,
Right.
very important that for somebody to help them understand who they are and where they are and what they want to go from one place to another. Because I'm the goal achievement strategist, I help people to do that. But one of those very first things is we got to figure out where we are. And that is so key. So I love that you were open and sharing with that, because we're not in this alone. There's many other people, I'm sure, that feel the same way that you were feeling. And that's so important.
It is. I totally agree with you. And the more we as a women come out of our little shells
Yes.
to really speak out about our experiences and how we've been able to find, the joy again. It's in living. Every other thing we want to pursue will fall in place. And will be more peaceful. So yeah, I do agree.
Oh, certainly, certainly. So my next question for you is, what have you used to help become more balanced? Because I work with people on that too, but I'm always interested in finding what other people are, what they're doing, because it does, the more that we can spread these messages, the bigger impact it'll make.
It'll make, yeah. I totally agree. We there's so much, and it's not one size fits all. Someone's own way of finding that balance might be will be different from another's, but you might be able to take from what I've done to help your journey. So why not? Yeah. So the first thing I did was really slow down. Really slow down within myself, and that's really turning off that I have to, it has to be done now, for instance, maybe before with my children, a lot of times, we're running to music, we're running to soccer, and so I stopped running within myself. And that allowed me to really process my life and process what I would call important and, must be done, and what I could, just maybe do away with completely, or, find another way around it, maybe ask for help, So slowing down with me myself was the first thing I did. The second thing was to affirm to myself that I love myself. I love everything about what I am and who I can be, based on two premises: that I am here as a human being to live a beautiful life, and secondly, in honor of my creator who gives me that life, I have the duty to live a good life. So first, I slowed down. Second, I learned to love myself. And, I started looking at various things out, especially when it comes to business and my relations with people in that regard and how I wanted my business to grow. I suddenly realized that I'm not the kind of person who runs after maybe, should I say, the next profit, but I'm the kind of person who wants to give and share and then benefit from that. So I said, okay, fine. Now that I have defined the kind of person I am, even in business, I'm going to run my business from that point of view. I started making those kind of choices for myself. I started reading more. I read various books. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, for one. Think and Grow Rich, and was another book I read. And when you look at the title of that book, it's Think and Grow Rich, but it really should be Think with an apostrophe and Grow Rich, because it forces you to really go within yourself to think. So that was a great help to me too. And I looked at the way I had scheduled my life, the way I scheduled my business life as opposed to my home life, and was there time for me in the process? Was there time for me to relax? Was there time for me to really, unwind? So I decided to put myself on a 4-day work week. I had read research from other countries because I do a lot of human resource work with some clients at times. And, just reading through that, there are certain countries that allow people to come to work for just 4 days because they believe the efficiency of the person is not really determined by how long they spend on a project. And so I decided to do that for myself and give myself some time off. So I typically don't work past 4 days. And that's something I've tested for a few months now, and it's working. And another thing I have come to understand, and I'm learning more, is to go with my body, go with what my thoughts are, my emotions are at at where I am, because we have a cycle for a reason, and our cycle is so connected with how we function as women, and is also connected with the phases of the moon. So there's that correlation, which I've been studying and working on, just watching myself. And, I realized that when I'm in the face of actually having my period, that is my rest phase. It's the time to really go within, think about everything you're doing and say, okay, what is working, what is not working? It's not energy time at all. So I respect that now. And I don't try to make myself do too much when that time is coming. Now, the time of ovulation is more energy spent. That's the go time. That's the move time. So just tracking my energy, tracking, my flow through that has also helped me in that journey.
Fantastic. And those are great tips and great points, Omalola. I work with clients when we're talking about that finding that balance, and not I teach people not to feel guilty about putting yourself first. Those big rocks, those things that need to come first. So the things that really need to come first are your health. Okay. And when I this is in my book, and I teach it, your health, but not just your physical health, your emotional health, your financial health. All these things need to come first before anything else. And knowing yourself, just like you explained how for you, that different times your body cycles, everything, yourself, when is higher production for you and when is time to rest for you. So getting to know yourself and really you can make the most out of everything if you just take that time to really step back and do that work. because you'll make it so much further. And that's what I teach people with your planning and calendaring, because it's all about, having your smarter plans in place, but you got to fit everything into your calendar. And to do that, like you said, you've been able to cut your work week down to 4 days. And it is so very true that we can be more effective when we fine tune our schedule and our planners and calendars. So it's all about prioritization of what we're doing, and then synchronization of what things have to happen, of the 1, 2, 3s in the time frame that it needs to happen.
And
Because
you know what?
And it's proven, there's been studies proven that if we have a task that we are set to do and we're passionate about getting to it, we can get that done in the time frame, if not in less of a time frame. But if we don't do that and we procrastinate or whatever, it's going to take longer. And it's the same, it can be the same thing, but it's just our mindset and how we approach that.
Yes, I totally agree. And then just something that came as you were speaking to me, delegating, asking for help. There's no shame in that.
Right.
We don't have to be the be all and end all, especially when we're business owners.
Right.
There needs to happen within our psyche the shift from being a job worker to a business owner.
Right.
When that happens and you find yourself, a business owner builds and therefore must learn to delegate.
Yes.
Must learn to ask for help.
Yes.
Then you'll be able to do the scheduling. Then you'll be able to prioritize.
Right.
But if you're in the the job mode, which a lot of us come out of when we choose to be in business for ourselves. When we run into that crisis.
Right. So, so a little bit more in depth of what I work with people on is that prioritization, and have that, okay, your A is absolutely have to do. Your B is it's got to get done. Your C is it's just a task. It needs to get done, but there's not a necessary priority. Your D is delegate. And that's when you have somebody else do it, hire it out, whatever the case may be. And E is eliminate. So when you do those things and go through those steps, it does help you to really tune in to what is going to be the most beneficial for you. So important, because I teach people we need to budget not just our money, but our time and our energy, because again, it all ties together.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, Omalola, how do you see success now that you've had the growth that you've had?
I see success as being able to share my talents, provide to folks services that support them, and in turn support me. And I see it as the vehicle that connects me to the world.
Yeah, no, that's different. Everybody's going to have a different response, and some things it's going to be, again, sometimes it's with a position somebody holds, or how much money they have in the bank or whatever. But for you internally, that's your clarification for you, and that's a beautiful thing that you know and understand that. To that
but that doesn't mean that I do not give regard to the critical things that make life worth living. And finance, for instance, can be a measure of success, but for me, it's a tool in that whole process, not actually the success.
Right.
That's where I see it, and it's very important.
Oh yes.
To understand it, to to see where it fits in your life and how you are and how we're working with it, it's very important. Just like our health and the two go together. That's why they say health is wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
Exactly.
and sometimes I joke to myself and I say wealth is health.
It is, because it does affect in both ways, doesn't it?
It does. It
If
really does.
Yeah,
Yes.
and people don't realize, and those stressors and negativity affects both
Yes.
aspects
It
of it.
affects, it affects once you have an imbalance, that's why for me, many times when I'm speaking to clients and working with people, um, you know, outside of the fact that yes, you want to build on your money or you want to start this new business and you're looking for funding for it and we're looking at the possibilities available, I want to know how you relate to money, and how what level of priority do you give money in your life, and because that would help to understand and mitigate the stressors that might come. If you're in business and you're not seeing the returns as quickly as you want to, I hope it could make you sick.
Right.
It could begin to, that emotion of not being where you want to be or feeling you don't have enough, it could start affecting something, your blood
Yes.
pressure, and you'll be wondering why, so it's really important to, and then, then you have the social stressors because you have a financial stressor.
Right.
You get home and, you're fighting. There's no, it's so, yeah, everything goes together, but
right. And that goes back to, again, when I work with people with the planning and calendaring, what I really try to teach people is put your planning days into your schedule, your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, because we need to track our measurables, that where we are financially wise towards meeting our goals and what we have. We have to have that budget. Also the time, is it running over schedule? Are we ahead of schedule with things and all those things? But those days to track our measurables, because then we know when we need to edit and revise our plans and do some tweaking to get things back on track. And that, just doing that, can help control those levels of stressors that we're all
yeah.
facing. Right. So, now, do you believe that everyone can be successful? Oh, are you there? Can you hear me?
Could you repeat the
Yeah.
question?
Do you believe that everyone can be successful?
I certainly do. I believe everyone can be successful given the right tools, given the right uh, environment, and given the right kind of support. But one thing that is very key in that is that person wanting to be successful. So that person defining what success is for them, that person knowing and loving themselves, and then working with someone, working with you and I, for instance, to achieve that path of success. But to say to oneself in thoughts in every process that I cannot be successful, that's not true. That's defeating, So it is. It's the key, the vital piece there starts from oneself, and understanding that we can change outcomes, change, our lives, change our beliefs and our convictions about ourselves when we understand the processes of how and the tools we're given as human beings to work. It is possible to be successful. Yes.
Oh, I 100, 1,000, 1,000,000% agree with you, Omalola. That's the mission that I'm on. is really to aid as many people as possible worldwide in knowing that they are worthy, that they are capable, and they're not in this alone, and so that's what I'm doing with any of the courses, workshops, programs. Everything that I do is all about putting these things together for people to be able to utilize to help them reach their own full potential. And that's the thing. Everyone, we all have our own, the highest potential that we can live to, and
Yeah.
not be in competition with anyone else. And
Yeah.
for that matter, and you know as well as I do, the thoughts on, can success happen overnight?
That's usually the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, there's really nothing like overnight. You have to put there's effort. I mean, it's the lawful, you reap what you sow. We have these laws within creation that guide our lives, guide everything we do. Um, there has to be an effort, and for every effort, you have an equal and opposite reaction. So where does the effort start from? You see, the thing again is, a lot of times we have to understand that we do not operate in physical, not just the physical sense of, yes, I'm going to school to learn. You have to be in that frame of mind that I want to learn. And so you go to school, and then you'll be successful. Trying to see how I don't see how the possibilities, even when it looks like someone arrived at so-called success overnight. when you look back at their story, there has to be a point of learning. There's a process in the journey. That's how it is. That's the law. But then we have to also take into cognizance certain flaws we have as human beings that make us want to run faster, do things quicker, and maybe cut corners. But then again, everything always falls into place, and you just find, okay, even if I did reach this very quickly, for instance, this is a conversation I have with my teenage sons all the time, because they tell me about all the influencers and people seemingly reaching the basic understanding of success, and doing, as I said, okay, fine. They have all that, but and if they didn't have a process of getting there, how are they going to sustain it? Because many times, without the background and the learning process, the sustenance of that success as we see it may not be long. So.
Yeah, exactly. For anything to be able to grow and be sustainable, right? Really thinking of this, and I teach people this too, it's all about building that strong foundation. All that work needs to go in beforehand. One of my favorite authors is actually Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he said, it's one of the things he says is, it's never crowded along that extra mile. And you think of those as the high achievers and those people with all the money and fame and all that stuff. Yeah, there's not as many of them, but that's not what it really means. What it really means, and what I teach people, is it's the people. There aren't too many people that are putting all that work and effort into building that strong foundation that they can have and achieve their biggest dreams and goals. No matter how bodacious, they can get there if they put that foundation together to build everything upon and create a smarter plan to get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's what it's all about. It's walking that extra mile. Yes, I can't blame it on millennials, but there is that age range where they just see people going from here to here, and well, I don't know if it's what we have in the world we live in today. If there were found and they were on one of those shows where they're singers, and they get recognized for their voice, and now all of a sudden they're a platinum artist. Yes, that happens, but that's very, very rare. And you watch on the competitions on, what they have to do to get there, the competitions that they're going through and all that. But for most people on anything that they do, Olympians, when what they're doing in the feats of athleticism that they have to do, they put hours and hours and hours into their training and spend people would not really, if you really found out from somebody how many hours that they are, even if they're a runner, and you don't think, well, hey, if they're a fast runner, but they spend many, many, many hours on the track doing what they need to do. They have to spend time at the gym. They have to eat certain ways. They have to do certain things in order for them to perform at that level. And there's so much more that needs to be taken into consideration for that. And that's what we don't see as the everyday person. You don't see what's happening behind the scenes for them to be able to do that.
No, you don't.
And that's where like your sons may be seeing these things and thinking, oh yeah. And there's many people that have all of a sudden they're recognized, but that doesn't mean that they haven't been putting the work in behind the scenes. So, oh my goodness, Omalola, so wonderful that we're having this conversation, and I want to share. Can I share with everybody about your 501c3 and what it is you do? Okay, so go ahead and share with everyone what it is you do.
I mean, it's always a joy and pleasure to do that. Yes, so I run a 501c3, a nonprofit in Georgia called the Institute for the Advancement of Humanity. And the Institute serves women and children globally. So women specifically, we serve widows and single mothers. And with children, we serve children in the arts. Now, globally, I say that because our work is not just limited to women and children. We're here in the US. We also serve women and children in Nigeria, being our first stop in Africa. We've been able to successfully host an event globally in June called Born to Be, celebrating women overcoming, where single mothers and widows, we brought them all together and with a group of panelists to just speak, to just share, what their challenges are, what their experiences have been, and just to encourage them to let them know that they are doing so much, they're doing so well. And it was met with so much success that we are in the process of planning out, virtual seminars that could support women in a lot of areas that were identified there. For women, for the children, we sponsor children in the arts who are very much interested in continuing with dance, continuing with, singing, continuing with maybe even sports. We have we've given support to parents who are not able to, meet the whole financial burden of it. Just take it away from them a little bit. In Nigeria, we've been able to give to children who want to learn an instrument, provide that instrument, give them that support. We supported a single mom who was in hospital and needed to to be able to cover her hospital bills, so that she could leave we were able to help her out with that. So my aim here is to help women become the best of themselves, because I believe women hold the world together. And if more of us can really find our being, as opposed to lean on all the physical crutches that maybe it's what you've been told as a child that you could not be, or you could be, or you just feel I can't do it if I don't have a man around me. Just the strength within yourself, within ourselves, first and foremost, because we are beings of light, put here on earth to serve. Just having women, especially widows, especially single mothers who may have gone through a lot of trauma, to see that they too can be that light, so that the children they are trying so hard to give the best will truly be the good human being, so that anywhere they are they can spread their light, is really what the whole purpose of the institute is. And I really encourage everyone to support us in our mission. We're going to be doing a lot of work with Patty and the Rise Above project, just spreading that, again, work. This is work for all of us to do, and there's so much to do, and so we encourage everyone to support us, and I know together we'll make this world better.
Omolola, thank you for sharing and introducing people to your 501c3, which I am honored that you believe so much in what I am doing with everything Rise Above, to be able to make a positive impact on this world globally, and locking arms with you on this project. It is very important that if there's something that we have a passion for and we want to make a difference, sitting back on the sidelines isn't going to do it. We need to take the steps and take the actions to make that difference. So
yes,
for Omolola, so wonderful to have you here with me. Do you have any gifts for our viewers and listeners today?
I certainly do. I would love everyone, if anyone is willing to to do a financial checkup, I want to offer to everyone listening and watching right now to go to my website, book a time with me, and I will schedule. I would love to help you wherever you think you are in your financial journey, and to see where you can even go towards. I would love to be a part of that process. So I have a financial checkup that I'm offering, and for the first 3 people I see who say that you're contacting me just because of this of Patty's Rise Above show, I'll mail you out a book that I have found very helpful. It's called The New Rules of Retirement Saving.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Omolola. You'll see her website here and be able to reach out to her. For everyone, if you want to find out more about me, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. And I have gifts for our viewers and listeners. If you're in the continental U.S., if you text the word GOAL to 26786, or if you're outside of the continental U.S., if you text the word GOAL to 1-866-926-4020, you'll have gifts come right to your inbox. Again, I want to take a minute and thank our sponsors, 133 Approved Funding. And I have a little video for you on the way out. And thanks again, Omolola. Remember, everybody, she's going to be a speaker on the Rise Above Summit in the financial dimension of life.
Thank you.